invited speaker, Professor M.P. Singh, who is associated with IET, Dr. Ambedkar University, Agra. Dr. Singh is a professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Computer Science, Institute of Engineering and Technology in Dr. Ambedkar University, Agra. Since last 20 years, he is engaged in teaching and research. He has more than 90 research papers in national and international journals of repute. His work has been recognized widely around the world in the form of citations of his research papers. His Google citation indices are at age 14, I-10 index is 16, and he has 434 citations. He is also conferred with Young Scientist Award in Computer Science by International Academy of Physical Sciences, Allahabad, in the year 2005. His research areas are focused on neural networks, pattern recognition, and machine intelligence, soft computing, quantum computing, etc. Dr. Singh is a member of Technical Committee of IAS-TED Canada. He is member of Machine Intelligence Research Labs. He is also member of Scientific Network for Innovation and Research Excellence, Auburn, Washington. Over to you, Professor Singh, for your invited talk.
Okay, madam. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Welcome to the conference, sir.
Madam, thank you very much. And this is very nice to see you here. And thank you, SRD Society, for inviting me once again.
Dr. Singh, please turn on your video.
Okay.
We cannot see you.
Okay, madam. Thank you. So now I am starting my talk, and the topic of my talk is modern era of computation. As we all are aware that the computer science is progressing.
Excuse me, Dr. Singh.
Hello?
Sorry to interfere, but we cannot see you. Switch on your camera. We can see.
Madam, wait.
We can see your presentation, but we cannot see you.
Okay, wait.
On the top, there is a camera. Switch on that camera.
Is it right?
Yes.
Now it is visible?
Yes, sir.
Am I visible?
No.
Okay, madam. Thank you very much.
No, you are not visible.
My camera is on.
No, sir. Just check on the top. There is a camera. Can you please switch on your camera?
Yes, my camera is on.
Yeah, sir, your camera is on, but you are not visible. Can you just check the lights or something over there?
Okay, wait. I think my camera is on, and may I start the presentation without speaking to? Okay. Actually, my voice is present, so it's okay. So now this is the modern era of computation, and as all we are aware with the computer science, that computer science is a field where the things are progressing very fastly. And if you just see the if you see the since last 20 years and how much progress has been made with the computer science, then you will be surprised to see how the things are changing very fastly and rapidly. So if we started, and the things are that if we just say in the initial stage of the computer science, the people have the argument the computer can only do the numerical processing, it can do the work on databases, algorithms for data manipulation, and all this type of the work. And in the 1960s, a thought was emerging, and the thought was that if the computer can do the numerical processing, why not the computer can do the symbolic processing type of the work? And if it does, the idea of the symbolic processing has opened the door for a new science in computer, or a new stream in the computer science, and that stream is being known as the artificial intelligence. It includes so many things in the umbrella of AI. It includes the rule-based system, the decision-making system, the expert system. So if you just see the progress in these areas, and if you just try to collect all the things, and if you try to connect all the things, we have encountered an issue. That issue was that if computer is going to be intelligent, then in which way, how the computer can help to the human being for the progress of the human society. It means that the computer machine should become more and more intelligent, and it has more and more power to do the work. In this regard, the computer science is emerging with the new areas, and these areas I have highlighted as the hybrid intelligence system, data-inspired computing, the cognitive computing. And if we just see all those areas, and we can see in a slide that we have opened so many streams in computer science, and these streams are interrelated. So nowadays, the people are talking about the deep learning and machine learning with the deep learning together, and we also have the areas of the blockchaining, Internet of Things, robotics, big data analysis, cloud computing, cyber security, virtual reality, predictive analytics, biocomputation, and the most recent area in computer science, which is about to appear in the environment or in the world. It is a quantum computing area. The quantum computing is a new emerging area in the field of computer science, which is integrating the too many disciplines. It includes the computer science, it includes the physics, and it also includes the mathematics, and it is emerging with a new powerful tool in the computation area. Now, after it, we can just analyze that if you just go into 1990s, when these movies have released, and after seeing these movies, we have a thought, okay, it cannot happen, all are the fantasies. And the fantasy, and we have the argument, these fantasies cannot turn into the reality. But fortunately, we have seen all these fantasies have been turned into the reality, and we have the machines, we have the computation power which can do all these types of the work. Now, if we just start the topic of the first issue of the machine learning, so if we just try to compare the traditional computing with the new approach of the machine learning, if you see the traditional computing, what we have the idea? We have an idea that we should have a data, input data. We should have a program, and when this input data and program are inserted explicitly in computer machine, the computer is supposed to produce an output. But in the approach of the machine learning, this phenomena or this trend of computation has changed. In the trend of the machine learning, we have the input data, we also have an output data, and we are providing the input output information to computer machine, and computer itself deciding what should be the program, though on the presentation of any input data, such type of the output should present. It is the approach of the machine learning which is being followed by the people to develop a machine which can think, which can decide, and which can find the inferences. Now, the issue is that when do we use the machine learning approach? So it means that the approach of the machine learning cannot be used everywhere. We have to find out the explicit areas, we have to find out the explicit domain where I should apply or where I should prefer to apply the machine learning approach. So now we can highlight some of the issues. The human expertise does not exist, only then I may apply the machine learning. When the human cannot explain their expertise, like the speech recognition type of a task, then I have to apply the machine learning. When I have to work on a personalized medicine, then I have to use the machine learning. And when I have to work on the genomics, then I have to apply the machine learning. And you will see very surprisingly the COVID-19 situation, and to find out the genomics of that COVID virus, the machine learning approach is working very fastly, and it has a very good result in this area also. Now, the point is that if we have a very simple question to ask, the question is if a machine can think, or or you can say that if a machine can learn. And you can see the slide. I have the picture of the two robots. It is true that if the data analysis can be done by the machine, if machine is thinking or if the machine can learn, then these type of a task can be performed very effectively and very efficient. It is an example that how we have to write the machine learning for the various tasks. An example I am showing you, the autonomous car technology. Here you can see that which type of a training the training is required to train a car which is autonomous. So I should require the laser, I have to plan for the path, I have the adaptive vision, and beside all the things, I should have a learning from human drivers. So now you can imagine how much large size of a data I have to encounter. The issue here is, if we have a such type of the large amount of data is available for me for training a machine, then how that data will be handled? So now it means that machine learning should be integrated with something else. So now what we just see that what is that something else. So now if we have a just well-defined architecture of the machine learning, so now you can see that how many components I have used here. The data collection, reprocessing, model generation, and then the oracle logic, and all the things are related. And now you can see the last I have mentioned the recommendations and the optimizations, and now you can see how much data is emerging from the various sources. So now we have a 3 lines or 3 branches: the rule-based system, classical machine learning approach, and the new approach which we are calling as the deep learning approach. If you just try to compare all the 3 approaches, you will see that we have the input and we have a hand designed program, and obviously I am finding the output. Now if you move to the classical machine learning, I have the input, and beside that I should have a hand designed feature extraction, and then these features should map and find the output. Now with the help of deep learning approach, there was no need of the hand designed feature extraction method. The layers of the neural network itself finding the features. So we have the successive layers, and these layers are supposed to find out the features in a various ways. So now we have the input sample feature. So now I have already explained to you that, and I have also written here the additional layers or more abstract features we can find out. Then from these features to mapping, and then I can find the output. So now I can show you an example for that you can see the example of a deep learning where we have the pictures. In the picture we have a human being, we have the other things also in the background, and now you can see we have 3 layers, and these 3 layers are finding the edges, the counters, the contours, and the object, and then it has been recognizing as the car, the person, as well as the animal. Now the impact of deep learning is also available in the commercial point of view. The Google has also adapted that technology, and now you can see this type of a technology in your smartphones. So now the Google is using the speech recognition facility of the deep learning in the various smartphones. Now you can see the slide which I am showing to you, and this slide is just indicating to you how much data we are immersing in a 1 minute. In 60 seconds, you can just check how much amount of a large data is being immersed by the people of the world and around the countries. So now you can see this is uncountable. The question is how to handle that data. So we have a word for this. This word has been very well known in the field of computer science. This word is the big data. So it is really the big data, and unfortunately that big data is unstructured in somehow. So now the point is that how to handle this big data, which is mostly in the unstructured form. So now we can just highlight this issue also. So now with the emergence of this large data, various devices are interconnected. It is the home appliances, our phone, our public infrastructure, our business, our healthcare. So now we have one more word which is being also emerging in a word. This is called the Internet of Things. So now we have the word of Internet of Things. That means that the people connecting to things. So now everything is connected with every other thing. So now if it is going to be happen, then how to handle, how to analyze this large amount of data, what are the requirements? It is the key area of the recent researches. So now it is the future of the networks. It means any time connection, any place connection, and anything connection. So if any time, any place, any things are interconnected, the issue is here how I am able to find out, how I am able to mine the required information from a large amount of the information. So obviously, I need some other techniques, and it means that I have to open the door for the new research. So now if you just see this figure, now you can see up to the 2020, the 50 billion devices are connected with the internet. So now you are seeing how the things are rapidly changing and increasing. The requirement is this: the intelligent systems are required which can handle, which can deal with large amount of information, and the people can take a decision on the basis of proper analysis and the effective analysis. So for it, the requirement is that everything where we want to work with this large data, with this information, I need to be the intelligent systems. So now it is the technology trend. And now you can see how the things have been changing, how the things are changing with the time. So now the convergence theory work here. Convergence of technology, convergence of business and ecosystem, as well as the convergence of people, application, things, data, devices, etc. Everything should converge under a one umbrella. So now what we should do, or how the convergence will happen. So for it, obviously it is the era of big data, and now you can see that the situation of the big data, it is structured as well as the unstructured also. So now we have another issue which is being helping to deal with this big data with the IoT, and we call as the cloud-based IoT big data application. It is able to find out the way how this data will be stored and what I should do to extract the required information which can help me to take the decision in this process. The key requirement for this big data and the IoT platform are the scalable, security and privacy, real-time system, and distributed and decentralized data, as well as the intelligent and the dynamic system to handle all the such type of the situations. So now I can just say a very interesting line here: allowed plus clients with the help of this big data and the artificial intelligence. So I can say the life without the war. It means that everything is open to everyone. It is a scenario how this technology is emerging in a one platform, and in which way we are able to handle various situations and the various applications like the culture translation, the machine learning, the real-time language translation, sensor networks, and the other things. It is another example which I can show you in the figure. Now you can just realize how the technology is emerging with the new trends. So now you can see how that person is able to scan the card and how the information is passing from one platform to another platform. It is another picture that you can see the person is in the restaurant and it is accessing the communication history with the help of keys. The keys you can see in slides. So now what that area is indicating, that area is indicating for this. It is called as the virtual reality. So it means that we are now moving towards the virtual reality. So if it is true that we have the big data, we have cloud, we have Internet of Things, and we have the intelligence system. Beside that, we also have the virtual reality. So now this is a very large situation, very big platform. So what we should do? So now I have to see the future. What type of the machine I require, what type of the algorithms I require. So now the answer is this: I have to move for the quantum computation. It means that instead of using the quantum, the classical bits of 0 and 1, I have to use the quantum bits. So now the quantum bits means that it allows the superpositions of the 0 and 1, and which we call as the, and every individual bit has its own amplitude, and we call that superposition as the qubit, the quantum bit. It means that a single information in a quantum bit is containing the 2 bits, the superposition of the 2 bits. So now if you see that if we have the m quantum bits, then we have the 2 raised to n superpositions of possible bias states. So now you can imagine how much large information I am able to store in a machine, how much large information I can process with the machine if I am increasing the number of my qubits. So now this is the scenario of the quantum gates. And it is the scenario of the quantum computation which include the two things, the superposition and the interference. With the help of this phenomena of superposition of bits and the interference, I am able to handle the work in a quantum computing. It also helps in the optimization, and it has its own algorithm, the global search algorithm, finding the shortest path algorithm, speed up, gradient descent, and finite element methods. So now you can see that the various terms are encountering in the area of the quantum computing. It includes the quantum bits, the qubits, the entanglement, the quantum gates, the coherence, the measurement, and all the things are making a new world which we call as the quantum computation world. So now you can just realize the difference between the classical computers and the quantum computers. So now you can see the potential power of a classical computer doubles every time you double the number of transistors. So you have to increase the hardware with the help of transistor. And in the quantum computer, the potential power of a quantum computer doubles every time when you add an additional qubit. So now by just adding a one extra qubit, the power of computation is doubling every time. And now you can also see very surprisingly the simulated quantum system we have started from here, and now we are moving for the artificial intelligence integrated with the quantum computing, and we have the new area of the research and the new area of computation which can help the society for handling such type of the scenarios. In the last, I will just say by the word of Buddha, which is the correlated with the quantum computation, nothing ever exists entirely alone. Everything is in relation to everything else. It is the basic theory of the quantum computations. So now it is the end, and thank you. And if you have any query, then you can please ask me.